Yo, what is up, our games out there? The name is Second Heat, bringing you guys another Call of Duty commentary. But this time, it is not about Black Ops 3. No, it is not about any Advanced Warfare news. This time, it is about esports. Yes, that is right. I'm doing kind of another commentary about esports. But the reason why I'm doing this is because just recently on ESPN2, I believe it was called Heroes of the Dorm or Heroes of the Storm, was aired on, like I said, ESPN2. And there's rumored that esports is pretty much not going to be aired on cable anymore because some people really just don't consider it as a sport, especially one of the guys over at ESPN, Colin Coward or Calvert, however you say his name. I don't know. I don't watch ESPN. Don't really care. But pretty much he talks about how if he ever has to pretty much com- commentate over a esports like tournament, he'd most likely retire. And he's pretty much talking about how esports is not a sport. It shouldn't be considered a sport. And he pretty much disrespects it. Pretty much like a lot of old school people. A lot of people really don't consider esports or any kind of gaming sport as a sport. And you guys probably already know my point of view. I consider esports a true sport. Why? Because it is competitive. Nowadays, we really don't know what is truly considered a sport or not. There are some things that back in the day people don't really consider a sport. For instance, um, motorsports, anything with vehicles like NASCAR, dirt bikes, rally racing, and anything like that. People didn't consider people didn't consider it as a sport before, but nowadays it's pretty much a sport. Even though some people still wouldn't consider it that way, it's technically considered it's technically considered a sport. One of the reasons why is because it is a competitive thing. And I'm pretty sure gaming's going to be that way too. Gaming is now going through that era of where people are either considering it or not considering it a sport, but in the end, it will pretty much be officially confirmed as a sport. And we're actually seeing this happen nowadays with all these big tournaments. I'm not just talking about Call of Duty. We're seeing it with pretty much a lot of gaming, a lot of popular gaming stuff like StarCraft, League of Legends, Dota, CS:GO, Call of Duty, and tons of other games that are pretty much becoming very, very big in the esports community, especially games like StarCraft, League of Legends, Dota, and stuff like that, where they even said how like League of Legends and those like the top tier games, how they are selling out in stadiums that that a lot of sports teams that the stadiums are actually built for, they can't even do anymore. So that really does say something that there's actually a huge community out there for the esports that truly, truly support it. And it's just it's just amazing to me of how much esports is growing. But I also hate the fact that many people aren't truly recognizing it yet. But I'm pretty sure over time, people are going to adapt to it more and they're just going to universally accept it. Even though I do know that there's still going to be those old school, basketball, football, soccer, and all those players who are just going to say, no, it's just not as sporty as my sport. But you know what? There are a lot of sports that don't compare, at least physically wise, but are still considered as a sport. For instance, people used to, as I said, the whole NASCAR and automotive industry, people didn't consider that as a sport. Chess is considered as a sport. Chess is considered a sport. And there is pretty much no physical activity. It's just a straight up strategy game, but it's its competitiveness that makes it the sport. People didn't consider like skateboarding and snowboarding a sport because it's not something that you would think would be sporty wise. It's mainly something I guess you can say just have fun and just play around with. But no, it's got a competitive scene. It's considered a sport. There are a lot of things that people don't consider a sport. Hell, remember back in the day when people didn't consider dancing or ballerina or ballet a sport? hey, it's considered a sport, and I would consider a sport. Okay, not many people can do what ballet dancers or straight up dancers, period, could do professionally. It's something that's actually pretty difficult, and I could say the same about gaming. You look at esports, I'm not just talking about COD, but League of Legends and stuff like that, where many people, even in the gaming community, have said that you will get destroyed the moment you try to pick it up because of such the skill gap in it. That says something. That says how intense it could get. That tells you how much skill is actually required in these stuff. But I guess because it's considered a video game, that it shouldn't be a sport. That there's no physical activity. Well, we're in the 21st century. A lot of things that we're doing now doesn't require as much physical activity as we did back in the days. You remember back in the days where we didn't have much TV, we didn't have much video games, where we didn't have the technology we do nowadays, and we actually had to go outside and play around with our friends, play tag, kickball, and stuff like that. 21st century, we don't do that nowadays. Nowadays, we stay at home and we communicate or we do stuff with others online through the internet. The internet is a glorious thing, and it is what is changing our society. It's not changing in a bad way, but I believe it's changing it in a good way to make even those who aren't physically capable, excuse me, who aren't physically capable to do some of these things that these athletes are doing. Some people might have like health issues. Some people might have physical issues like weight, that they just can't go outside and do this stuff, but they have a opportunity to participate in these esport like events. I love the fact that anybody can technically become a pro at this, but I don't mean it as, it doesn't take as much skill. I'm saying it as in it can cater to any kind of person in this world, whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're black, white, fat, skinny, it doesn't matter. Esports is open to anybody. You're not restricted to anything really. All you have to do is just be dedicated, play it. You need to obviously develop the skill for it, and over time, if you are good at it, because you do need skill, you do need to be good at something in order to become pro at it, you too can become a pro esports player. And that's why I love about it. And that's why I believe that esports should be considered a sport. And people like ESPN and all those, old school sports fanatics, they should really accept it because this is the future. Esports is a thing, it is a sport. So let me know what you guys think about in the comments down below. Until next time, this has been your boy Taking Heat, and I'm out. Peace.